Hello YouTube, it is me, JTH8899, and yes, I'm Jacob Hubbard, and today we're doing the top 10 worst movies of 2013. As you tell, I just did my top 10 best. Go watch it. It's already uploaded, and now today is December 31st, well, 30th, but I'm gonna upload this tomorrow, which is today, in your opinion. Anyways, got the top 10 worst movies of 2013. And yes, there was some bad films. And you know what? There's some bad films that didn't make my top 10. So, as Chris Stuckman says, this is the dishonorable mentions. I'm gonna read them off. Mortal Instruments. Wow. Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters. Ugh. Turbo. Really close to making it, actually. Epic, really close, worst anime film I've ever seen. After Earth, one of the most boring sci-fis ever. Side Effects, again, people might disagree with that, but it was boring to me. I'm sorry, but it didn't make top 10 worse, so don't worry. The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I just cannot stand the Bullet to the Head. A lot of people said it was good. I did not like it at all. Mama. I hated this movie. I don't know why, I just did not like it. Really close to making the list. Freebirds, one of the worst animated films ever. And finally, Paranoia. Yes, that movie did not make the list. So starting with number 10, 47 Ronin. This movie had one goal: be interesting. This movie was not interesting. Keanu Reeves, you were the best on this movie, and you're not even a great actor. There's horrible acting, undeveloped characters. I don't even care about Keanu Reeves. This movie was not interesting, and it completely downside the movie. The only good thing about this movie is action scene. That's why it's number 10, because it has something to say it's good about. But still not a good film. I did not like this film. Number 9, Tom Cruise. You are doing everything. You're doing spies, you're doing cops, but you never, ever do another sci-fi movie like this. Edge Tomorrow, go ahead and do it, but do never do this type of movie again. Oblivion. Again, this movie is boring. This movie has one of the most confusing endings I've ever seen. It's so confusing. They try to do a twist, but it's confusing. But the one good thing about this movie is, of course, the action scenes. That's why it's a little higher on the list, because it's, well, lower on the list with number 9, because it has something to be a little good about. But the other 8 films, number 8. Alright, this was the first movie of the year. What a great start with Texas Chainsaw 3D. Are you kidding me? This was close to being number 1, really. It really was. This movie had the worst acting ever, the worst special effects ever, the worst directing, cinematography. It really, you put Leatherface as a good guy. That's all I have to say. Why would you put one of the most famous killers in a horror franchise as a good guy? And the timeline is mixed up in this film, because he pulls out an iPhone. It's garbage. Throw it away. Do not see this sequel. Number 7. This movie was instigated by me a little bit. It was the complete most disappointment film of the year. A Good Day to Die Hard. There was no John McClane. I feel like Bruce Willis there was no John McClane. There was nothing cool about him. He was just an old dude with shooting guns. That's all there's to it. There's no remembering villain. Every Die Hard movie, you gotta remember the villain. There's no remembering villain. Horrible directing. Okay action scenes, but not enough for John McClane not to act like John McClane. What? Number 6. I actually walked out of this movie. 55 minutes. I watched the 55 minutes of this movie. After that, I walked out. And that is Scary Movie 5. Is there anything to really say? I walked out of it. That's all I gotta say. I walked out of this movie. Number 5. This movie was meant for kids, but you know what? This movie had horrible kid jokes. I know this movie's meant for kids, but I could not stand the Smurfs 2. Worst animated film, well, worst kid film actually. This movie sucked. I do never want to watch this movie again. I had to watch this with my cousin a couple weeks ago. It sucks. It's meant for kids. Adults, you're gonna hate it. Really, it sucks. It's horrible. It's horrible. But there's 4 other movies that they really suck. Number 4. Alright. You are a great director, Ridley Scott. Why did you make The Counselor? This movie had some unnecessary sex scenes. A lot of talk about sex in the first half of this movie. This movie is boring with horrible dialogue, a confusing story, and one of the worst endings ever. It just ends. It ends on a bad note. A really bad note that you're gonna want more. But they just end it. I hate this movie. I never want to watch it again. I have to watch it with my dad because he hasn't seen it. Worst Ridley Scott movie ever. Ever. Number 3. Wow. What a Men in Black 4. Really. And this is the best you could do with 2005 or 2000 special effects? R.I.P.D. Are you serious? You completely try to rip off Men in Black, but it did not work. This movie sucked. Horrible acting from everybody, really. Jeff Bridges, you cannot understand a single word he says. Horrible directing, horrible ending. It is just so bad. There's nothing interesting about this movie. Nothing. It is just bad, bad, bad. I can barely remember this movie, actually. That's a good thing. Because it sucked. It really did. Ugh. Get out of here. There's 2 other movies that just were not good. Number 2. This movie was probably the closest one to being number 1 because it's number 2. But you know what? They call this movie one of the worst movies of all time. Do I agree? Yes, I do. And that is movie 43. I actually saw this movie the first day it came out. I walked out of Scary Movie 5, but I didn't walk out of this movie. Why? Why did I not walk out? This movie is horrible. This movie has nothing funny. It is stupid. And it's just so bad. It's hard to explain because there's nothing good about it. It's sketches. This guy's reading a script of bad sketches. And they are horrible. Horrible. But there's one movie that I could not stand. Number 1. Yes, the worst movie of 2013. Movie 43 actually had a tiny little plot because there's a guy reading a script to a director person. That was the little story they had. The reason why this movie is number 1 is because there's no story, horrible comedy, horrible acting, horrible directing, horrible situations that could not really happen, and this could all not happen in one day. The number 1 worst movie of 2013, in my opinion, is Grown Ups 2. Adam Sandler, you are no more. You made Jack and Jill. You made this. That, my boy, wasn't that bad. But then you made this. No plot. That pissed me off. In every other review I've seen, no one talks about it. Am I the only one notices? Alright, they move back to their town. And they do stuff all day. They do stupid stuff all day. And there's a riot at the end of this movie. And no cops show up. Are you serious? This movie, you take number 1. Anyway, guys, I want to add one more thing. If I did see machete kills, I did not see that. If I did, it would have been number 1. I'm going to tell you, I hate grindhouse movies. I do not like them. So if I would have saw it, it would have been number 1. Sorry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 worst. Hope you guys enjoyed my movie reviews, my videos, the walkers, everything. It's a whole new year tomorrow. I will see y'all next year. Bye, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for supporting me in 2013. Bye, guys. See you next year.